What is the crack, everyone? It's B2B Sports. We are back with episode, I think it's episode 6. I'm not entirely sure. But Sam is here
Right.
as
Yes,
always.
as
Um,
always.
I suppose a bit of start with a bit of football. It was international break this past weekend, and yesterday England played actually. They qualified for the 2024 Euros after a 3-1 victory over Italy. I didn't really watch much of the game. I heard that Jude Bellingham was unreal yet again,
Yeah.
and Harry Kane scored two, I believe. But did you
Yeah.
catch much of it?
I only saw the goals. And I mean, look, from all accounts, it seemed that England actually played really well. Bellingham, Rice, and Kane, and even Rashford
Mm.
played really well. Linked together really well. I say really well a lot, but um, no, it was a good win against a decent Italy side. Um, and good thing we qualified. I mean, we were never not going to qualify, I don't think.
I don't think so.
I don't think that was under any suspicions, but it's good to be in the mix. But again, it's all comes down to what we do at the actual tournament next year, which hopefully will go well.
Hopefully.
But I mean, if we play as well as we have done now, and like Bellingham is in the same kind of form that he's in, Kane's in the same kind of form because he's playing outrageously as well. The England team is really good. I think the weakest link is probably like our centre backs and goalkeeper.
100%.
Like I know obviously Pickford plays his best football for England, but if he turns up and he's playing his Everton football, then it might not be as good. But um, no, I think we've got good chances.
How do you feel about Gareth Southgate's selection process? Is coming to a little bit of flack recently about selecting, the standard England, Jordan Henderson, Harry Maguire, and not picking players essentially on form, but picking them because of merit and what they've achieved for England. What do you feel about that? Is because I remember when Southgate first came into the side, he was picking players on form, and it was
Best
different.
form, yeah.
It was different to the previous manager. But now he's sort of reverted back to his standard, 11 or squad.
Yeah,
How do you
I
feel about
think it's
that?
I think it's difficult. I mean, I think Harry Maguire, like, he doesn't play for Man United. If he's starting for England, it doesn't really make too much sense.
Mm.
There are English centre backs who play more often. At the end of the day, um, yes, he's played well for England in the past, and I suppose it does give you a sort of not right, but confidence that he'll play well for England. Um, so I think obviously Gareth Southgate gets in an impossible position where he'll pick these players based on a team that he knows will perform well, that have performed well at the last two major tournaments, um, and will probably perform hopefully pretty decently in the next major tournament. And that's what his football has been, is playing really well when it matters, and he has a winning formula at the moment. So I'm not ready to question his methods. More that I think that some of these other players should be in the squad.
Mm.
Might
Yeah,
not start, but they should be being brought in. Like I think with the whole, what was it, the Euros, like Calvin Phillips came and he only played like 50 minutes of
yeah.
football. It made no sense. Um, but you know, if it works in at the major tournaments, I think you've got to stick with it. At the end of the
It's
day, 'cause that's what matters.
it's a fine line, isn't it, between like chucking in. You don't want to have too much rotation. You don't want to bring in every time England fixtures come around. You don't want a new starting 11. You don't want that
No,
much rotation, I suppose. But
no,
also, you don't want to become stagnant and have no development or no change at all over 4 or 5
no.
periods. So
But I mean, I think like national teams really go in kind of an 8 year rotation where for two major tournaments at least in a row, you'll have a similar team to the last major tournament
mm,
because it just makes sense. Or maybe even 4 years. Obviously, it's every 2 years for the major tournaments in this sense. But like at least for the two major tournaments, you'll probably see two of the same size go up, bar one or two players. And you had that. I mean, Spain won the Euros and the World Cup with a similar squad. and then those people leave and they struggle. I mean, I think it's part and parcel with international football is you have a generation of football. It's not different every time, because if it's doing well, you don't want to change it.
Yeah.
And because there's so long between tournaments, if you can keep it, you will. So I think it's very difficult in international football to say like we'll have a whole new starting 11, because one, they've never played together at all, and two, like you just don't know if that's going to work,
No.
and you get hounded if it doesn't come off. So it's at least you can pick players that you know, and they're still playing well for their clubs. So what's the harm? I mean, Henderson obviously is playing Saudi Arabia. Is that a good pick? I don't know. I've not watched any Saudi Arabian games
No, I don't know. I can't.
personally, but in this England side, I don't like John Henson anyway, so yeah, that's probably a biased opinion to say like he shouldn't be in the team, but we have better players.
Again, it's a difficult one with Henderson, isn't it? Because you have to put the moral Saudi argument to one side, and if he's still playing football, look at the players that gone to Saudi League, Kante and Benzema. You're not going to just because they play in the Saudi League, and they're just not going to make the French team, are they? Like,
Yeah,
they're still, like you said, they're still generational sort of that talent. So just Jordan Henderson is playing in a league which is new and up and coming, then
yeah,
I don't think you can necessarily rule him out of playing for England just because he plays in that league.
no,
It is a difficult one though. It's a difficult one.
yeah. I personally don't think he should be playing anyway, just based on talent. But that's a different question.
I mean, talking about other midfielders that, going back to Jude Bellingham, I think he's won 9 man of the match awards already this season in club and national form, which is absolutely mental. He's off the charts at the minute, form wise. Messi was being Messi last night. I think he scored cracking goal for Argentina against Peru, which was sick. Neymar was being Neymar. I think he's out injured.
Getting injured.
Yeah. Another serious injury.
Yeah.
I don't want to laugh at anyone's serious injury or anything, but yeah, he just seems to go down always, especially at national duty anyway. And San Marino scored a goal, mate.
Scored a goal. It did. Although it's a bit marred by the apparent San Marino players just targeting Hoyland, and
I thought you'd say something about
that. Well, obviously, it's come out that they said, I think it's San Marino, for them to win a game, they have to play a bit dirty. They have to play Sunday League football. I know they scored a goal. Great, it's first goal in 12 matches. Like, that's ridiculous. That's like spans how many years? 12 matches in international level. But
it's Denmark as well, so it was quite good opposition. You're not talking about playing Jamaica or anything like that. It's Denmark.
Exactly.
I think Denmark are top 20 in the world, I think.
So it's a quality side to score a goal against, and chuffed for them.
Chuffed for them. I think there's an unofficial San Marino sort of fan account that tweets every time they score, and he was going mental last night.
Oh yeah.
I also saw on Twitter this week that there was another edition of How Large before it goes in. So you spoke about Nicholas Jackson one from a few weeks back. Yeah. There was the Harry Kane from the penalty at the World Cup last winter. I think we're over the point where we can actually joke about this now.
Yeah.
That was a sore subject for such a long time.
Yeah.
But that was
not good. What percentage did it go to? I didn't even see.
I think it was 225. So it wasn't as high as Nicholas Jackson.
Yeah.
I think he slots in third in the table. But yeah, that's so funny. So funny to see. Wayne Rooney is the new manager of Birmingham this past week. Obviously, Birmingham are going in a new direction with the new ownership. Tom Brady's on board and all that. They did sack John Eustace when they're in the playoff position, which
very strange,
very harsh. But Can you see their point of view, Sam, or do you think this is just a completely bonkers move?
I don't really understand sacking managers in like the middle. Well, it's not even the middle. It's like the beginning of the season, especially when they're doing well. Like it doesn't make sense. In terms of, I find it very hard to feel two of my favorite players in Tom Brady and Wayne Rooney
Yeah, that's mad.
being at Birmingham just hurts my soul a little bit.
It's so random, isn't
Um,
it? So
it's
random.
very random. It's not. It's something you'd see on like Football Manager turning up like they've named a stadium after like Gary Neville or something, even though he never played for the club whatsoever. Something random like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it.
It's a weird one. It's either gonna end in complete disaster or it's gonna end in promotion. Like there's no middle ground here. It's
No,
one of the two.
and I
But
think Rooney's proved like he can manage a bit.
yeah,
What he did at Derby was pretty good. And I feel like what he did at was he at TC United or like he can coach. So I'm hoping he does really well. It'd be good to see him if he can get them promoted into the Prem. Because I think Rooney does quite a lot good.
doesn't that mean though? I think you put it in the chat, didn't you? If Leicester play Birmingham, it's the Wagster Christie derby, and
Oh yeah, that's so good. I saw that on Twitter. I think that's such a great story for that game. I think it's like December 9th or something. It's
yeah.
on. Yeah, that'd be a cracking game because it would just be
Mark,
hilarious.
mark it in your calendars, folks.
Oh yeah.
I saw also on Twitter this week that Pep was doing an interview with Rio Ferdinand, and Pep Guardiola chose Scholes over Lampard and Gerrard. That's
But I think
hmm.
that's fine. What are you talking about?
Well, of course, you're going to think that's fine.
Well, no, to be fair, I think a lot of the Spanish players have been asked, like Iniesta, Xavi, and all them were asked it, and they all chose Scholes. Like, they all think Scholes is like the player they wanted to play with. So I think in terms of Spanish football, like Scholes is up there.
Hmm.
Um, the way Scholes plays would have gone very nicely in with Spanish football. So
Well,
I
yeah.
don't find that too surprising that
If
Pep
you
would
look at
also like it.
if you look at like Lampard and Gerrard, they were more offensive players, weren't they? Until
Mm,
later on in their career, where they dropped back. Whereas Scholes was middle of the park, spray the ball about like a
mm,
quarterback. I think,
yeah,
yeah, like you said, I'm sure that Spanish players and Pep could probably appreciate that probably slightly more, I suppose.
but I
Talking about
agree with that. So.
another Spanish player spraying passes. Did you see the video of Xabi Alonso just pinging it
Oh
about?
yeah, I mean he can still play if he wanted to.
He could, man. He could. I still think
United got a spot for him.
when,
I bagged it.
when Casemiro, inevitably gets sent off, he could do a job.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he could just take over from Casemiro now anyway. Just if you wanted to, just sell him on. Um, oh god, I've got to go back to club football this weekend, and it's not going to be good.
Let's talk about United because again they've been in the news this week. The Saudi takeover is finito, done.
Apparently so.
They've got Sheffield this coming weekend.
Yeah.
Should beat them really, but I think there's going to be some protests when you're next back at home about this whole takeover situation and how it's been handled, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand how takeovers can happen and then don't happen straight away. It just seems weird that why it won't happen. I think the Glazers just wanting more money. I think they wanted like 6 billion when he was asking for 5. I think when you're in that sort of range, you just take your
Just take
take
it.
your losses there. I mean, I don't think it's not even a loss. They will still make profit on
No.
the whole organization. So, yeah, I'm kind of just done with that saga. Hopefully, one day it happens, but I don't think it'll be this year or maybe even next year. And to be fair, I just hope that the team starts actually playing well. That's the main thing. I think are we still above Chelsea by like 1 point?
Yeah, by 1 point, yeah. Because of
So
Scott
I'll take that.
last time. How was that
Yeah,
happen?
Scott McTominay. Stop with that.
Yeah.
Scott McTominay. He's our best player so far at the moment. He's
Unreal.
Scotland's best player at the moment. He's unreal.
scored a worldie free kick, but it got disallowed, I think, in the end.
Got disallowed for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it was pretty harsh.
Just
Yeah,
with that.
Man United. I suppose. I mean, you should have really beat Sheffield United at the weekend.
We should, but there's a lot of things we should
Yeah.
do. So I'm not holding my breath.
No. It's Chelsea Arsenal this weekend, which is a huge game.
Reece James, how's he doing?
Now, right. There's been reports that obviously he's now doubtful and re-injured himself, but Chelsea put photos. Yeah, Chelsea put photos on Twitter and socials that he's back out training with the team on grass. So I think it's going to be a little bit
but Chelsea
whether he's going to start.
Chelsea also put a video up of, was it like Mudryk scoring in training or something, and it still had like Trivago logo on it. Like, it was obviously from a few months ago.
So you're accusing them of fake news? Sounds like.
Yeah, I think it might have been Brozier actually. I scoring and training and like all no, it had Yokohama tires on it. That's what it had on the boards at the behind the goal. So yeah, fake news.
I don't know whether it is a little bit of gamesmanship and trying to goad Arsenal into thinking that he's going to play and he's not. I don't know, but we'll see.
I think at this point, like, why would Arsenal care? Like, Arsenal are playing really well. It pains me to say, but I mean, it's annoying that Spurs and Arsenal are top of the league, but they're playing unreal and they should win.
They should. But Mykhailo Mudryk, he's going to bang. He's going to score. He's in unreal form. He scored a banger for Ukraine. He scored his first Prem goal for Chelsea last time out, and he's, mark my words, this could literally come back and literally bite me in the
ass. Quite often, what we say on this podcast, the opposite happens. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to this weekend at all.
Mudryk he's going to miss a sitter now, and he's going to go off or something like that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that happens. I think there's a couple of big games this weekend. I think the Everton. You're right there.
What just happened then?
I don't know.
Did you press a button? Because like a speech bubble just came out of your head with like a thumbs up, and then went away.
Okay, all right. I updated Zoom, so maybe they've just started adding in text. I don't know.
That was really weird. Sorry, I was like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Anyway, there's some couple big Prem games this weekend. It's Liverpool Everton, Merseyside derby. Always gets a bit rowdy.
Yeah.
Merseyside derby, and then it's also Man City Brighton. And usually this would give or take game. Man City would probably be favourites, but Man City have lost 2 in a row in the Prem. So they've lost 2 in a row. They lost to Wolves and they lost to Arsenal 1-0. They redeemed themselves in the Champions League against RB Leipzig, I think. But yeah, they've lost 2 in a row, and they're against De Zerbi and Brighton, who aren't a bad side at all. So
no, but they've kind of been faltering a little bit. They lost to Villa or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's City, isn't it? You say like, oh, they've been faltering and they'll win 5-0.
Yeah, everyone's starting to take Haaland out of the FPL side or switch him.
I've not done it yet. Although I'm convinced I'm going to lose this FPL season. I'm really scared.
Mate, I'm having a stinker right now as well. I'm having a stink. I'm dropping.
I'm like 30 points off third, so it's not looking good for me.
Things can change. But yeah. Sticking on the Chelsea theme for now. Eden Hazard renounced his retirement last week. I did a quick video on it in the week. But what are your thoughts, Sam? Early retirement or right time?
I think it's, in terms of how his career has gone, I don't. It's not surprising that he's retired. He's played very few games for Real Madrid because of injuries. I'm just happy that he did have a prime. His playing for Chelsea was awesome. He was one of the Prem's best ever players, probably. I don't think it's too early, but I think that he will be happier now that he can retire.
Probably.
But yeah, it's a shame because it would be nice for him to go to Real Madrid and kind of thrive. because he was thriving so much at Chelsea, but he's just never hit the ground running there,
It's,
because of injuries mostly.
yeah, it is a shame. It's like I said last week, but he wanted that move so bad, and he made it. Made it publicly aware that he wanted that move, and that was his dream
Mm,
move. And he got that move, and it just didn't work out for him. Whether that be
no,
injuries or fitness or managers preferring other players, but yeah, it just didn't work out for him. And I'm gutted for him, to be
it
honest. I'm
was a
gutted.
shame. Yeah, I did want him to do well at Real Madrid, um, but yeah, sometimes it just doesn't happen. But I'm glad he had the kind of fairy tale stuff at Chelsea.
100%, 100%. Um, I think that might wrap up football. Any football news from you? Oh, the Tonyali betting scandal. I heard
Yes.
about this. Apparently, he's been betting on. Well, when he was back
Yeah,
playing in Serie A, he was betting on AC Milan games, weren't he?
yeah.
And I don't know whether he's going to get a substantial fine or whether he's going to get a substantial. I don't know.
I mean, you think he would have to with um what's his name? Ivan Toney's kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
So he'd have to get some sort of ban. But yeah, it's quite. I think it's one of those things. Obviously, AC Milan, they probably knew about it and sold him for
yeah.
50 odd mil.
I know. Yeah,
And now it's Newcastle's problem. Good bit of business by them, but it's one of those things where it should be. Obviously, gambling is a problem. It should be common sense that you don't gamble on your own games. I don't see a problem with players gambling on other games. I feel like if that's what they want to do, that should be fine. They're all adults
true.
at the end of the day. But yeah, it's one of those things. I hope it's resolved quickly, so at least he can serve his ban and come back or anything like that. But I've not heard too much else about it other than it's happened.
Yeah,
No kind of rumors about what's going to happen, but it'll be interesting.
he's a good player as well. So it's a bit of a
Mm,
shame if he gets caught up in that thing. But NFL news. Let's jump into that. Sam tagged me in a tweet earlier this week discussing the idea of potentially moving the Super Bowl 1 year to London. The
yeah.
game will start 3 hours earlier in sort of UK time, but it'd be interesting to know sort of everyone's thoughts on this. But what's your thoughts anyway, Sam? Before we jump.
I think you said it in your tweet quite well that the Super Bowl, the fans that go aren't always the big proper fans because obviously the Super Bowl, obviously the last couple of years they've been in like there's been a home team because it's been their stadium.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the way the tickets are done, that there is no home team. It's 50-50. And it's basically first come, first served. And it's also hella expensive.
yeah, definitely.
So the fans that are there aren't always the biggest football fans. So in terms of having the Super Bowl in a different country, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good to do at least once, see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be great for fans over here because there is such a big following now. With all there's lots of kind of English and like American football teams now, and it's such a big following that I think it would do really well. I think it would do exactly the same as it would do if it was
Yeah.
in America. Like it's 3 hours earlier there. Yes, is that going to be a huge problem? Probably not. Um, it'd be more accessible to Europe.
Yeah.
A lot more European countries be able to watch it, and that's what they're venturing into Europe. Obviously, going to Germany. So I would love it, and I would love to hopefully, if tickets are ever a price that I could afford, would 100% try and get tickets to that. Because I don't think I'd ever get to the Super Bowl in America.
Never.
But yeah, I think I'd love it.
It's
But
an
also,
interesting. Sorry,
would
go
it be at Wembley? Would it be at Wembley or would it be at Spurs?
on.
Because in my opinion, it should be at Spurs.
Well, Spurs, they made the stadium with NFL in
Yeah,
mind, However, there is a massive argument right now about turf versus grass, and
yeah.
NFL, the Tottenham Stadium is turf, whereas Wembley would be grass. So
So I
you've
think the
got that.
players would prefer grass.
Yeah, and I imagine so.
Um, I think as well, was it Mike? What's his name? Ah, Ron Miller was saying that the turf was really hard in England and they didn't enjoy playing on it. So in that sense, I'd be all for Wembley. I think if it's for safety of players and stuff, that's absolutely grand. And also, it is bigger.
He is bigger, yeah, he's bigger.
So why not?
It's a weird concept, isn't it? I think a lot of the Americans instantly got their back up and saying, you know, this is our sport. Like, why are we playing in another country? Which you can kind of see, you can kind of understand. But then
Oh, definitely.
you got other NFL fans that are contradicting themselves, saying that we're world champions.
Yeah, literally.
How can you be
You can't
world
have it both
champions?
ways.
It can't be both ways. Um,
No.
yeah, I like I said, I think that the Super Bowl is so corporate anyway
Yeah.
that I don't think it would harm it being in another country. And if it's in the UK, I'm more for that, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting take. It is definitely an interesting take.
I hope it goes forward because I would like to see it.
Yeah, would be mad. Absolutely mad. The Vikings got an ugly win in the NFC North against Chicago Bears. That was a terrible, terrible game. Justin
Nice.
Justin Fields went down injured, and their backup Bajent nearly won the game for them until he threw a pick six. Well, it wasn't a pick six actually until he threw a pick in deep in the fourth quarter. But yeah, I'll take that. We've got the 49ers coming up next, which
they're on their first loss.
they
Could
did
be a
have the
streak for
first.
them.
They did have the first loss, and Debo, McCaffrey, and is it Trent Williams? I think went down injured.
It did,
Um,
yeah.
so I don't know whether they're going to be back or not for the game. It's Monday Night Football, so you know what that means. Kirk Cousins'
Prime time.
stats and the haters are going to be back out again, aka
He's
Sam.
won like one. He's like one prime time game.
He's clawing it back.
Loves it.
He's clawing it
He's
back.
clawed it, but he clawed it back last season quite a bit. But yeah, I don't see you winning that game. Anyway,
He's at
but
home.
like
He's at the Vikings. I don't know if that makes any difference. Whether we're
I
still in the
don't
league
know.
or not.
Yeah, might lose by less.
But if we do shock the world and win that game, I think that will really kick us on to make a bit of a playoff push.
Yeah.
What about you,
So
Sam?
what?
You making a bit of
You
a
said I
playoff?
would push you on to make a playoff push.
Yeah, 2-4. We're out of it now. Detroit Lions are running away with it.
Yeah. So the only you could get a wild card
Yeah,
at the end
wild.
of the day. I don't see it.
That is it.
Don't see it.
Rolling it.
I mean, we're gonna get the number one pick at this
Oh,
rate. So
that's why Sam's ruling us out because he's bitter, mate.
honestly,
What is
one and
going on?
five, lost to the Raiders. We have our players saying he got fingertips to it when it literally hit both of his hands. Throwing picks just wildly over Hunter Henry's head. Getting sacked in the end zone when our offensive line isn't even trying. He got past two people to sack him in the end zone. So yeah, it's just a shambles at the moment. Not sure what you don't know whether it's coaching, don't know whether it's players, but there's some discord and it's not fun to watch. And we have a horrible schedule.
I don't even know you've got coming up.
We got the Bills and the Dolphins next
Divisional
in
games, oh,
in a row.
and they're good as well at the minute.
So they're playing insane. So we got the Bills. Let me see. Bills, Dolphins, then Commanders, who are playing well.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Colts, who Gardner Minshew is playing awesome. Like they could beat us. We've got the Giants, who who are awful, but like he can. Jones can just turn it on at any time. We've got the Chargers, who will probably lose against the Steelers, Chiefs, Broncos, Bills, and then Jets. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting in the schedule.
Do you want to know a mad statistic that I just saw?
What?
Derrick Henry, the running back for the Tennessee Titans, has more passing TDs than Mac Jones in October.
Yep. Ridiculous.
I mean, it is 1-0, but still, that is a mad stat. You're starting.
Isn't it?
There's
We,
no.
we had back-to-back games with one with no points, and one with 3 points. It's not good. Um, we have no weapons. Kendrick Bourne is our only wide receiver. Hunt Henry is our only other target. We're not running the ball as well as much as we should when we have our two best players, Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott, should probably be running the ball more. Like Elliott should not be getting his first touchdown in week 6.
I actually forget that Ezekiel Elliott actually plays for you.
Exactly. He should be he should be getting a lot of snaps, and he's not getting as many. It's a shambles. I'm not looking forward to this weekend. So yeah, that's my take. It's not going well.
Rant over.
My fantasy team, I lose by like 3 points, which is the lowest margin out of anyone in our fantasy league this year. And it was 3 points on his last person on the last day. It was Monday Night Football, and his person gets 9 more points than he should have, and I lose. So I'm now what? I think I'm 2-4, which is great.
Vikings record, mate. Still a comeback there, mate. Still a comeback.
Ridiculous. It's not good.
Some other results around the league this weekend. We alluded to it. The Browns beat the 49ers. It was on a pretty exciting finish, I think. I think the 49ers missed a field goal in the last second of the game to lose. The Rams look pretty good. Back to normal again with Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp is back and playing well.
The Dolphins are looking unreal. I think there's talk that whether Tyreek Hill could break 2K now that JJ's down. He's down and out, but whether someone else can step up in Philly's boot.
I mean, he's almost at 1,000, and we're 6 games in.
He's unreal. His speed is he's unmatched, man. Like, how can you catch that guy? Like,
no, it's a cheat code.
Actually,
and you got Jalen Waddle, who's hardly a scrub.
Yeah.
Who's just next to him, and then you got just too many weapons. And to be fair, as much as it pains for me to say, Mike McDaniel is an absolute legend.
He's a guy, man. Some of the comments he comes out with in these press conferences are
I think he's great. He's the most like off the cuff, random guy, but he's doing a great job, and he's exciting to see every weekend. So yeah, it's annoying that I prefer the Dolphins head coach to my own head coach at the moment.
I think a lot of the head coaches are wearing the classic sports training gear. I think Mike McDaniels was wearing he's repping these off-white Jordan Nike shoes on the sidelines. So I was like, but you're dripping.
Honestly, he's just loving life. And he's so honest. Like he was talking about how when he was at the Browns, Johnny Manziel didn't watch tape, and he was like, yeah, he seems like a cool guy.
A cool guy.
And I think that the Dolphins are reaping the rewards of that at the moment.
The Bengals look like they're back. They're back to 3-3. They beat Seattle, but Joey Burrow looks pretty good. Looks like that calf is healing up pretty quick.
Yeah, they've managed to turn it, kind of gets things running again. And Jamar Chase is playing well, and they're a team that should do well. So fingers crossed they can continue. I like Bengals.
Did you hear about so the Cowboys played the Chargers? Did you hear about the crazy Chargers lady fan?
Yeah, I saw that. Everyone's ripping into it at the moment.
So apparently, she was a Chargers fan at the game, and she must have been in some box or some high-end seats because they kept showing it every time. It kept showing it, and she was really animated, proper into the game, up and down, and then they lost, I think, right at the very end, and she looked absolutely, gutted. But people were saying she must be an actor because, there's been photos of her in a Minnesota Vikings jersey and that.
Yeah.
And then Pat McAfee had her on the show, and they grilled her, but in a jokey way. Are you sure you're not an actor or whatever? You've got a really good high-end quality camera that's doing the Zoom call or whatever. and she played it off. She was like, no, no, I'm genuinely passionate. But yeah, there's people, there's conspiracy theories online saying
Yeah,
that she's not a real fan. She was
there's loads.
all for the
I mean,
camera.
she's even said that she moved to LA not long ago, and I think she was a Vikings fan, or like her son plays for the Vikings, or somebody she knows plays for a team called the Vikings. I don't know if it's the Vikings
Yeah,
or, but she said like she's a new LA Chargers fan. So, but it's very
yeah,
odd what
very strange.
people will. I mean, if she is an actor, fair play, but why should anyone care at this point?
Yeah, true that, true that. One last thing that I thought was a little bit odd, in my personal opinion, is that during the Bills Giants game there was a bit of a scary injury where
Mm,
Damien Harris went down, suffered a neck injury. It seems to be, I think they took him to hospital. He seems to be okay, like which is good. But the ambulance came onto the pitch and picked him up, and they'd retired Damar Hamlin's number like on the back of the ambulance, which I
yeah,
think's a little bit weird. I don't know what you think.
I think that's odd. Like, why?
Like
It's an ambulance. Why would you have somebody's number on it?
he's not dead.
It's just very different. No, exactly. He was
Playing
probably in
on
the
the back.
stands. Yeah. So no, I think I did think that was weird.
It's very strange, very very strange. But yeah, any other results in the NFL world you want to talk about, or is
Yeah. Obviously, Eagles lost as well.
Eagles lost? Yeah,
Both undefeated teams lost.
yeah, it's very true.
Um, so I don't think that's going to be too much of a kind of trend. I think they're still going to win games.
Mad to
But
think
yeah,
that Detroit Lions are joint like, well, I don't know if they're technically what their ranking is, but they've got the same record as this the 49ers.
yeah. I don't know how they worked that out. But because yeah, the Eagles, 49ers, and Lions are all on the same record, and they're all in the same conference. So I wonder who's
It must be
first.
how what their divisional record is, or how many
Yeah,
points,
yeah, that's true.
whatever.
Um, mm, yeah, the Detroit Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. So
None of that. None of that.
if
But
Detroit Lions win the Super Bowl, that'd be one of the best things ever to happen to in the NFL.
I do like him though. I got a divisional rival and all, but I do like Dan
Yeah,
Campbell and I do like Jared
yeah,
Goff as well. I like that trade actually worked out for the best for both Stafford
yeah.
and Jared in this aspect anyway. Yeah. Cricket World Cup not looking good for England at the
Not
minute.
great. We have an outside chance.
Yeah,
But I mean, South Africa lost yesterday
they did lose say
to the
yesterday. Lost to
Netherlands.
Netherlands, didn't they? Oh, jeez.
First win Netherlands ever had in the 50 over World Cup. So it leaves the window slightly open, but we just now have to beat Australia, South Africa, India, and Pakistan probably to get in.
And Ben Stokes back as well now. I think Ben.
Yeah, so he might be back for our next game, which I can't remember who the next game. It might be Sri Lanka, but um, yeah, it's not looking good. I mean, at least we look like we're playing better than Australia.
Australia got hammered, didn't they, to against
Yeah,
South Africa? That looked bad.
yeah. So I got my fingers crossed, but it's not looking good. But then many things can happen. Like the New Zealand could lose. New Zealand are looking great.
New Zealand and India, they haven't lost yet. I don't think both of
No,
those sides. They look good. They look really good.
it's just sad to watch. Moment. But at least we got the rugby.
We have got the rugby. England are through to the semi-finals against South Africa, albeit the holders who we lost to in the last World Cup.
Yeah. But you never know. You never know. I mean, South Africa France game was insane.
I mean,
Uh,
most all of the quarterfinals really, apart from the Argentina game, that was a bit naff. But
yeah. And
well,
I had Wales in my sweepstake,
did you?
and they lost. And they on paper probably had the easiest game.
Yeah, they should have beat Argentina. Really.
Ridiculous, stupid Wales. Yeah, it's Jake's fault. But yeah, it's I think to be fair, Ireland getting unlucky, just losing to New Zealand, a powerhouse in the World Cup. But the fact that Ireland have never gone past the quarterfinals at a World Cup is ridiculous.
I didn't know
And
this. I didn't know this
yeah,
until I literally just looked it up before the podcast. That is mad.
they honestly basically have the yips at the World Cup. They can't turn it on. Even though they beat South Africa in a great, they won all their pool games. Um, so yeah, it's mental that they're out already. Obviously England beat Fiji. I mean, it wasn't textbook, but it was probably the best game we played against it. Probably the best opposition we played. Um, and then obviously South Africa, France was an insane game.
Yeah, unreal. By 1 point, they beat him.
Yeah, yeah. Nice blocked conversion was probably the winning moment.
Yeah.
But I think we'll lose to South Africa. They just look too good. But it all just depends what happens on the day.
I mean, if this Saturday evening is looking pretty tasty for sport, so you got Chelsea Arsenal 5:30, you got Rugby World Cup semi-final, England South Africa 8 o'clock. You got the F1 sprint race. I think it's like 10:30. That's your Saturday evening. So
All sorted. Absolutely delightful.
But in your honest opinion, who is going to get through to the Rugby World Cup final, and then who do you think will win it in the end?
I think it will. I think it will be New Zealand, South Africa, and to be honest, I think South Africa will win.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd love to see an England Argentina final.
Well,
Just because how random that is.
That would be so weird.
An England team who have arguably been playing their worst rugby over the last few years.
Yeah.
And then Argentina, of all people, to be in the final. Be great.
I mean, if Argentina beat New Zealand in the semi-final, I'll eat my hat. I'll eat a hat that I don't have on my head. I'll eat a hat. But
It can't be made of chocolate. It has to be a real hat.
okay. All right, then.
Yeah, you've said it now.
But yeah, I just find it funny also is that the Northern Hemisphere is now fully reliant on England to try and do it for the Northern Hemisphere. As always, the Southern Hemisphere is clear in the rugby game recently. Yeah, I just find that funny that England have been terrible over the past couple of years, and yet
to be fair, so have Wales. I was quite shocked that Wales did so well, and then Wales were Wales and just fucked it up. They should have won that game.
Should have won it.
But Argentina, not saying Argentina are a bad team. They're a good team. We only just beat them in our first game. And we had, because of George Ford,
that was
conversions left, right, centre. So I'm not saying that even if we got them in the final, it's not a guaranteed win. But I'd like that.
Boxing. There was some entertainment boxing, YouTube boxing this weekend just gone. Absolute shit show. Can't lie. It was a shit show. I watched it with some friends, and KSI Tommy Fury, that was just terrible. Firstly, Tommy got a point deducted for punching KSI on the back of the head. He did it a few times, to be fair to him. And then it was just, other than that, it was just a clinch fest. Absolute clinch fest. Not much boxing going on. Sam was at an eco retreat this past weekend with no Wi-Fi, no data, and you didn't miss much.
Didn't miss anything. It was fine. Came back and nothing happened.
Dylan Dennis didn't throw a punch pretty much in his fight against Logan Paul. A trial's going to be a trial, mate, to be honest. I think that's that. I don't think he had any intention of really going out there and giving it a good go. So,
no. And he tried like an MMA move to take him down by like a...
Yeah, he tried to like get him in a headlock or something like that, and then the security guards all jumped in and it got a bit messy. I think he got disqualified in the end, to be honest.
Yeah, he did.
And then he threw a mic at his head on the way, like in weigh-ins, and gave Logan a cut on his face. And in all fairness, Logan actually turned up and to fight. So pretty mad. I think the best fight of the night was Dean the Great versus Walid Sharks, which is not going to mean anything to you.
I have no idea what that is. Those were just words.
But they actually looked like two YouTubers, whoever they were, but they actually looked like they could fight, to be honest. But yeah, that was that. It's Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury this week. Not this weekend. It's next weekend. I think it's the 28th
Okay.
of October, which should be entertaining to watch. But yeah, that was really that for boxing. To be honest with you.
Didn't like I saw somewhere Salt Pappy got knocked out.
Yeah, Salt Pappy got knocked out. Yeah, he got stopped.
Shame.
He was on. I'd higher hopes for the guy.
So did I. So did I. It can happen. It can happen to anyone.
He started the fight really well, to be honest. He
Yeah.
looked like he was gonna do the business. And then the other guy that he fought, I think his name was Slim or something like that, came back and won the fight. F1's back this weekend. It's race weekend in Austin. There's a sprint race which should be pretty exciting. Danny RIc's back. But yeah, F1's back. I don't know if you're on the F1 bandwagon this year as much as last year.
I don't seem to be as much. It's just been a bit dull.
Yeah, I think because Max.
Yeah, but even the races haven't been that exciting. There've been some exciting ones in terms of basically the start of the race is the most exciting bit anyway. And they've been exciting, but not much has happened. The sprint race was okay, but it's been a bit of a dull year.
Apparently, according to rumors on social media, that Checo might announce his retirement in Mexico.
His retirement?
His retirement.
But he's not very old.
He's only like 33, but I think that
he's just getting ripped too much.
Yeah, Red Bull and is running him into the ground.
But I mean, who are Red Bull gonna get in place?
I mean, my girlfriend's hoping that Danny RIc moves into that
True,
spot.
yeah.
But, I think that's a little bit optimistic. But we'll have to see how he does now he's back from his wrist injury. But I can't see it personally. I mean, why would you announce retirement in your home race where everyone's going to be cheering you on? It's going to be a bit of a dampener, isn't it? By the way, guys, you're all out here for me, but this is a retirement. This is the last time you're going to see me.
Yeah. Really odd, but no, I don't see that happen.
No.
I'll be surprised.
Yeah. The most random news of today is that Netflix. Have you heard what Netflix are doing?
No.
They're doing it's called the Netflix Cup, and it's going to be shown on Netflix on the 14th of November. But it is a golf competition featuring 4 F1 drivers and 4 PGA pros.
That sounds great.
It's mad.
Who are the F1 drivers doing it?
Alex Albon, Lando, Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz and Lando can play golf apparently because they're part of
they're really good.
They're part of the PGA, warm up competition.
Yeah.
I don't know who the fourth driver is. Might have to look it up. But I think the pros are Justin Thomas, Ricky Fowler, I think is one of the pros.
Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly.
Yeah, Gasly. Yeah.
Oh shit.
And it's going to be like a paired competition, and then they'll go through to a final, something like that.
Yes.
It's pretty interesting. I mean, this can be done for other sports as well, like get drivers or other sports athletes into other worlds. You can have another golf tournament with like footballers or something like that.
Yeah. Well, you've seen like loads of sports people have invested in Alpine this week.
Yes.
Like 200 mil worth, but what's his name? Rory McIlroy's done it, and Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes they've all put money into to finance Alpine.
All these celebrities getting involved in the sports, and I think AJ was one of them as well. Trent Alexander-Arnold as well, and Mata. Random.
Have you seen the guy who's, I think his name's Caleb Williams or something like that? The guy who's projected to go number 1 in the draft.
Oh yeah.
So he's asking for a ownership stake in whichever team picks him.
That's brave, isn't it?
That is mad.
That is brave.
I've never heard of that.
What the hell? What if it's complete bust? Like, what if he just flops?
Yeah. So I think they're going to have to draw up something that, I mean, he might just not get picked because of that. But yeah, a bit of a mad thing to say.
That is interesting. Obviously, you had Kyler Murray, didn't you, a year or two ago? That was pretty outlandish in his ownership and his clause agreement, but and he got what he wanted, to be honest, in the cart for the Cardinals. But yeah, that's pretty brave. That's pretty brave of him. I don't know
Yeah,
how many
especially
teams
before
take
you've been picked, like months before the draft is even happening. It's very brave.
is brave. But yeah, Russ Cook is still running the length of Africa. He's in
Ooh,
Cameroon now. um,
obviously.
apparently he was this is pretty graphic, but apparently he was pissing blood.
Yeah,
And then took a couple of chill days where he ran 50k a day, and then
yeah,
it
exactly.
went back to 60 odd k a day again.
Honestly, it's outrageous
Mad guy,
what he's
absolute
doing.
guy. I think that is that. But yeah, come on England. In the Rugby World Cup. Come on. I was just about to say, come on Arsenal. Then what am I doing?
Jesus Christ! Oh, he's an Arsenal supporter. Get that Chelsea shirt down. I knew it.
No, I'm just trying to reverse psychology, like what we always do.
Yeah,
They're the opposite. The opposite. The opposite happens.
I think we
Um,
know that what shirt you're getting if you lose this FPL.
yeah. Oh shit. But yeah, enjoy the weekend of sport, everyone, and we'll catch you again next time. So in a bit. Peace.
In a bit.